Good morning again. It's a lovely, lovely Wednesday morning. Of course, you know it's midweek, so we're excited. Definitely today is the 21st of February. Gradually, February is coming to an end. It means we have just about 7 more days to go to the end of February. We're grateful that you've joined us here on TV3's New Day morning show of the year. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning.
Midweek, you're excited. In the midweek. It's not Thursday, it's not Friday.
But it's still midweek. At least you know you've done about 3 days.
No, you're lukewarm, so you're not excited. You're lukewarm.
No, I am excited. How do you tell me whether I'm excited or not? I am excited.
Good morning now to you there. As usual, Wednesdays are always exciting, you know. And so in the middle of the week, whatever the tracker you have, I guess you're going to take another look at it and see if you are hitting the right spot. From now till 9 a.m., our job is to satisfy you, get you out of bed and get you into your vehicle. So if you have to do a motorbike or perhaps walk to your offices, that's exactly what we'll be getting you to do. Get up and be part of society. And Anthony Jackson will get us all the news, the rest of the newspapers, plus all others on this show this morning. The best breakfast you can get across the country.
But guys, are we in the rainy season just about now?
Well, I'm loving the cold weather. Yesterday around 12 midnight, it was kind of cold. And you get up and your body is a bit hot, and you know, it gives you that room to be able to do other things.
Right, it does. It does. But I mean, I think it's a bit confusing when the pattern is changing, because then either farmers can't really plan, even ordinary people who want to have programs. Let's say if you want to have an outdoor program, now you're thinking, should I do it indoor just because, would it rain, would it be sunshine? So now the prayers will be more. God has a lot of work to do to hear us, and those begging for rain and those begging for sunshine at every point in time.
I think we should just take it. I mean, the weather was kind of getting hotter before February, and so I'm loving it. I hope it doesn't change again. Once we're getting to March, April, it's good we're getting that kind of rain. But I know that on the other side, the upper part of the country, it's getting hotter and hotter. From March, April, I guess that is when they will be struggling to fight meningitis because of the heat. And so we're enjoying a bit down here. I don't know if it's other parts of the south, but Accra seem to be enjoying that kind of calm weather. We're praying that the rest of the country will stay like that. But hey, those of you out there, if it's getting hot, take a note and be careful what you do, because it's kind of dangerous.
I guess caution has to go out there, and this is probably the time where we should ask about those areas that were designated for, you know, reliefs, where people could go if they were flooded, there was flooding in their area and all that. Those 17 areas that were located, we had to go back and ask AMA what they're really doing about it, because we know how in Ghana, even just a teaspoon of rain could cause a lot of flooding and deaths along the road. So definitely we have to talk about that as well.
That's quite something.
Yes, that's something like Johnny, yes, that's actually, I think I heard it from Johnny though.
But you know, I don't know, but I keep thinking, are we able to deal with this issue of flooding? Because it looks as if we're going to have a lot more rains, but the effort at stopping flooding doesn't seem to be getting any better, because the last rain saw a lot of garbage on the streets. That suggests that the drains get choked as usual, and I guess they get more choked, or they are more choked now. So I don't know. The last time it happened, you saw a system put in your door drain to alert those who live around there that if the water gets to this point, it means that you have to leave your home. But the point is that, are we really, really ready to fight it? And is there a way out, where we're just waiting for the rains to start coming heavily, and then we'll see ourselves running more helter-skelter because of
falling? So we are reactionary.
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But a lot more rains are expected, and that's where, for me, my worry is.
Well, we have more news for you this morning, right after this. Good morning to you. My name is Anthony Jackson, and this is the news for this morning. Now, Parliament has unitedly approved Martin Alamisi Band Kaiser Amidu as the special prosecutor. Before his approval, the MP for Bolgatanga East, Dr. Dominic Ayini, wanted the Speaker to be guided by a suit that he filed at the Supreme Court challenging his eligibility, but his appeal was rejected by the Speaker.
The Appointments Committee of Parliament Tuesday presented its report to the House after the former Attorney General had gone through 8 hours of vetting last week Tuesday. Earlier, MP for Bolgatanga East, Dominic Ayine, who had filed a suit at the Supreme Court challenging the nominee's eligibility, wanted the first Deputy Speaker, who was in the chair by then, to make a determination on the matter pending before the court. According to him, any comments made on the floor would send a wrong signal to the court. But the first Deputy Speaker did not see how that could affect the debate. When the Speaker himself took over the seat, he also ignored Dr. Ayine's points of order and asked that the chairman of the committee proceed to present the report. But that did not go down well with the minority. When granted the opportunity, Dr. Ayine proceeded to cite a ruling in New Zealand on a similar matter, but the Speaker would not take any of that.
Bring a law report and read it to me, and I will look at it myself. I'm not going to read from your tablets.
He asked the Bolga East MP to cite a Ghanaian example. The Speaker subsequently rejected Dr. Ayine's request after the Majority Leader asked the Speaker to rule Dr. Ayine out of order. MPs from both sides of the House during the debate praised Martin Amidu for his competence and integrity. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice was pleased with the approval.
I am confident that Mr. Amidu's appointment will be confirmed by the Supreme Court. All the qualities that I saw have been confirmed in the report of the committee that vetted him: courageous, forthright, truthful, competent.
MP for Banda, Ibrahim Ahmed, wanted urgent steps taken to pass the Right to Information Bill to enable the fight against corruption.
Pass the Right to Information Bill so that legally every Ghanaian who means well for the state and tries to fight against corruption can come legally into your office and ask for every vital information that is necessary. And that is where the special prosecution is going to have challenges, because anything happens and you have no legal backing to go and seek for that right information.
Dr. Dominic Ayine, in an interview, said it was a sad day in Parliament.
The fact that I brought electronic, references to authorities that are external to Ghana. For instance, when I cited the ruling of the Speaker of the Parliament of New Zealand, I referred to it electronically. And the Speaker told me that you cannot use electronic authorities in order to support your arguments. I found that, rather astonishing. The majority is having their way and always having their say, and we, the minority, are being shut out. And I think that it's a very sad day for this country that our deliberative chamber is behaving this way. They will not even allow me to coherently argue my case on the floor.
Now, Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara has arrived in Ghana for a 3-day ECOWAS summit on a single West African currency. He was met on arrival by the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, at the Jubilee Lounge of the Kotoka Airport in Accra.
President of Ivory Coast, Alassane Ouattara, is in Ghana to participate in discussions with the ECOWAS task force on a single currency. President Alassane Ouattara inspected a guard of honor, and he later exchanged pleasantries with government officials. He immediately went into a meeting to hold discussions on the single currency. The Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara expressed his joy that the ECOWAS Single Currency Forum will assist member countries to improve their economies. The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, expressed confidence that the summit will help expand and integrate the economies of other countries in the West African region.
What you see happening in Cote d'Ivoire, in Ghana, in other countries, makes us believe that as Africans, as West Africans, we can all move beyond aid and focus on our economies, and as we try to forge ahead together. But together, we can do a lot more.
Earlier, the Vice President welcomed the President of Niger, Mahamudu Issoufou. He inspected a guard of honor and exchanged pleasantries with Ghana government officials. The two heads of state are in Ghana for a 3-day summit on an ECOWAS single currency. The currency, when fully implemented, is expected to promote intra- and inter-African trade. Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Alhaji Muhammadu Habibu Tijani hoped the single currency will reduce smuggling and activities which damage the economy.
We are going to improve businesses and sometimes issues of people smuggling and bringing or taking currency to another country where you don't have, it loses its value, will no more be there. So we want to.
And now traders at Malam Market in Accra have given government a 3-day ultimatum to pay them 18,500 Ghana cedis, being the value of 185 bags of salt allegedly destroyed last Thursday and dumped into a river by military personnel guarding the Malam landfill site. The traders also want government to recall the military detail stationed at the landfill site who are restricting their movement.
What should see in Ghana, we are all Ghanaians, so we are all Ghanaians. So if even anybody has done anything, is it right that you spoil salt, 185 bags, one is 100 cedis, so it's 185. So they will pay. That's what we are asking for.
So, and I learned you gave the government some ultimatum to give you that money.
We said 3 days.
Otherwise, if not.
Oh, but we have executive, we will meet and know the next action to take.
So by what means did you inform the government to give you that money? Have you officially communicated to government for that?
We haven't communicated. So you are here, so we are using your medium for them to know.
The traders issued the ultimatum following the destruction of 185 bags of salt last Thursday by soldiers who had been detailed to the area to guard the landfill site, which ownership is in contention between them and the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources. The traders claim the landfill site was part of a portion of land the Malam Market Association acquired from a family of which they possess legal documents. They therefore did not understand why the Ministry of Sanitation wants to take over the land without proper procedures.
The land in question that they are talking about is the land for the Malam Market Association. Our land is 13.45 acres. That's the land. And we started reclamation over there before the Minister for Sanitation came in. If he knows the land is idle, nobody owns the land, he should have consulted us. We heard they said the land is for them. It is a land site, so they cover it up for them. It won't work.
A piece of land which used to be a landfill site but had been reclaimed has resulted in the controversy. The traders are claiming ownership of the property, but it appears the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources has other plans for the land. Some of the women who claim to have had their salt destroyed want the money to repay their loan. We need
the money now.
We took loans from the bank and we expected to pay back. They should give us our money. Meanwhile, there seem to be conflicting reports on the issues. Our checks reveal there are two factions in the markets, one headed by the market queen and the other by her brother who manages the markets. The supposed traders who had their salt destroyed belonged to the manager's faction. Some traders on the other side, however, claim they have been advised to stay off the site until the dispute is resolved and were surprised the other traders defied these orders. That land has been under dispute for a long time and we have been warned not to meddle in the issues of chieftaincy. The market queen denied reports the traders had earlier been molested by the military personnel.
Nti yen koho dada enya afina yen koho dada wehu nti me dia asem we dia me nti ase ase ma no soldiers no gu ho instruction was ma yen koho.
Sources say the military had been guarding the land for almost a year now as part of government's plan to reclaim various landfill sites.
Now, only 91 prospective lawyers out of the total of 474 student lawyers will be called to the bar in Ghana this year. 206 student lawyers are to repeat the entire course following massively failure in their final bar examination. There's more in the following news text reports.
Final year students of the Ghana School of Law are still in shock after staggering 81% of them failed their final year exams. Out of a total of 474 students who sat for the exam, 91 passed, representing 19%, who are to be called to the Ghana bar this year. This means 206 students will have to repeat the entire course. Another 177 have been referred in one or two papers. The law school's mass failure has been recorded at a time Parliament is seeking to regularize the entrance exams and interview processes instituted as part of the admission procedures into the Ghana School of Law. The General Legal Council, which oversees legal education and profession in Ghana, has mounted a strong-willed defense for the maintenance of the entrance exams. Council insists the exams and interviews are to ensure higher standards in legal education in the country.
And now the Accra Regional Police Command has announced a temporary closure of some principal roads in the capital, Accra, ahead of the 5th meeting of the ECOWAS Presidential Task Force on single currency on Wednesday, February 21. The affected roads are from Osu Cemetery traffic light on the Castle Road to AU Circle and intermittent closure on the Independent Avenue between the 37 interchange and the AU Circle, popularly referred to as Ridge Roundabout. The statement signed by the regional PRO noted only security vehicles and others carrying dignitaries would be allowed to ply the designated route. Away from that, cashew has become the leading non-traditional export earner in Ghana's agricultural subsector. The total export revenue realized from cashew in 2016 was approximately $244 million, making the commodity the leading non-traditional export revenue generator.
Since the early 1960s, when cashew cultivation began in Ghana, it has steadily grown into a significant economic tree crop with a high potential of leading the non-traditional export category in foreign revenue generation.
If you observe trend of rainfalls and temperatures over the past 10 years, you realize that now we have limited rainfall, which is also erratic. But cashew is able to withstand drought. And then because there is also market, farmers are cutting down their cocoa plantation to plant cashew. So putting all these factors together is making cashew overtaking cocoa.
According to the Ghana Cashew Industry Association, Ghana produces between 50,000 to 70,000 metric tons of raw cashew nuts annually. Some analysts claim cashew sells for more than cocoa on the international market. Currently, it is selling on the international market at $2,200 per metric ton, as against cocoa, which is pegged at $2,100 per metric ton.
The middle belt of Ghana are the food basket of Ghana. And Techime alone used to supply more than half of the total maize that we get in the country. So if maize farmers, cowpea farmers, yam farmers, cassava farmers, plantain farmers, all of them are now converting production of those food into cashew, which is for export. What will be the implication to food security?
Cashew farmers in the Brunei region have faced difficult situations because there is no board established to organize the marketing of the cash crop and give them value for money. Every crop season, the cashew marketing is inundated with expatriates who determine the price for the commodity per kilogram. They take advantage of farmers' vulnerability and give them any price of their choice. The new cashew board is expected to help with a full-scale development plan on the cashew industry. The Secretary of the Peasant Farmers Association, Charles Nyaba, says government should look beyond the board and implement policies that will improve the fortunes of the industry.
There are instances where boards were inaugurated and the follow-up action never came up. So we just hope that the board that is going to be put in place will do proper feasibility studies, put in a good implementation plan, and then follow up. And the focus should be on adding value to the cashew nuts.
In 2016, the total export revenue realized from cashew was $224,500,000, making the commodity the leading non-traditional export and revenue generator.
President Akufo-Addo has pledged to transform the cashew crop to one of the major cash crops in Ghana. He gave the assurance during the launch of a 10-year development plan for the cashew at Wenchi in the Bono-Hafo region. A report by Johnson Techi.
President Akufo-Addo was accompanied by the Minister of Trade and Industry, Alan Chiramatin, Gifty Klenam, CEO of the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, and the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Efria Akoto. The Minister for Food and Agriculture, Dr. Efria Akoto, said government will commercialize the cultivation of other cash crops to create more agricultural jobs for Ghanaians. The CEO of Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Gifty Klenam, said her administration will ensure an increase in the volume of locally processed cashew in order to generate more job opportunities for Ghanaians while increasing the value of foreign exchange from cashew.
Plans are envisaged for the establishment of a cashew development board to put in place a regulatory framework to make cashew the next cocoa in Ghana.
President Akufo-Addo expressed his commitment to transforming agricultural produce to attract global market.
As part of the plan to boost the production of cashew, the Rural Development Department of the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, together with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, are spearheading the initial production of seedlings for the cultivation of cashew in the country.
The President said the location of the cashew center at Wenchi in the Bono-Hafo region is appropriate. He noted the local people had already been engaged in cultivation of cashew, and he assured them the ongoing cashew spraying exercise will continue in order to enhance increased production.
Well, we'll take a break here and NewDay returns shortly after.
Welcome back. Let's touch on news headlines now. Daily Heritage carries some interesting stories. It says veterinary doctors abandoned. Some are dying from strange diseases, no housemanship and no jobs. Government is to return Ibrahim Mohammed seized mining equipment. Also, traders versus soldiers brouhaha. Bawe Kwate family breaks silence. The picture shows some of the angry traders registering their protest against the armed soldiers. Then finally, Otiko Jaba storms court over child adoption saga, and the ruling of that case is on the March 8th. Guys, veterinary doctors have been abandoned. Isn't that Ghanaians don't really understand their place of veterinary doctors in our health system, or we don't appreciate them, and also it translates into government not being concerned about their welfare?
The culture of having livestock or pets in this country has always been there, but to the extent that people now eat their pets. Somebody keeps a cat for a long time, even birds, even dogs. People eat all manner of things. And you find that the culture of insisting that animals be vaccinated, it comes once in a while. Once in a while, then we'll have a task force come around and say, there's a surge in rabies, so have your dogs injected and then have tags for them, and that's about it. But it is not a regular routine. 10 out of 10 houses, you can find just one household that's very consistent and diligent in trying. Exactly. So that is, if you like, a denial of jobs that they could have, and these are qualified. The last time we had 3 of them were student vets from KNUST talking to us about rabies and all of that. Then the question I asked myself and offset was, when you guys graduate as doctors, where do you go?
Exactly.
So the job openings are not there. And the employers, which will be the Ministry of Agri, the Veterinary Authority, they are all not helping in that particular instance.
True.
I mean, a veterinary doctor is equal to a medical doctor. So then, if he has gone through the training for all these years and cannot have a job, what is the essence? You've killed the passion, and now we're told that they are dying of strange diseases.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, Johnny, I must be honest. I particularly, for one, as a child, was into pets because my grandfather had a lot of cats. And so I grew up wanting to be around pets. And I thought I wanted to be a veterinary doctor up until a point where I grew and I realized that in Ghana particularly, we don't seem to have a place for them.
Right.
Because we don't have the culture where we understand that you have to take a particular pet to the veterinary services.
Right.
Everyone seems to think they can handle their own animals in a way, as Brad was saying earlier, that he was trained to even treat certain diseases as a child of, you know, livestock. So really, if I can do that, why would I want to take my pet to the veterinary service? And of course, even with human beings, we see that attitude display, that everyone thinks I'm a doctor on my own up until it becomes so bad that they push you to the hospital. So if even the person doesn't see their own health issues as a big deal, why will they translate it to an animal?
You know, I think what Ahmed's point is clear. You see, we might not be excited at getting our pets to a vet doctor. The reasons might be many. In the story, we're told that Ghana needs about 1,000 vet doctors. If I got it right, we have just about 49.
Yes.
I'm told also in the story that all public health facilities should have a vet doctor attached.
Yeah.
That is not possible.
We don't have that.
We don't have them. Now, if the person has a difficulty getting treated for malaria in the health facility, I'm wondering if his goat or sheep or dog is unwell and that person will think about doing this. I read the story, and what is even worrying, look, for me, for instance, when my goat shows signs of anything, I just find the local way to handle it.
To deal with it.
Yeah, so find all kinds of herbs and get them to chew it, and then they are back to normal. If you read the story, some vet doctors have been employed. The sad thing, according to their spokesperson, is that they went to cross-check and their SNIT has not been paid for years. Okay? And I asked, are these state institutions employing these vet doctors? And they can flout that regulation that asks them to pay SNIT. Mandatory a regulation asking them to pay SNIT for their employees. And is that not a criminal offense?
It is a criminal. I mean, when the state offends the law, you wonder who will crack the whip.
Yeah, it's strange.
It's sad. I mean, and you see, there are people who have been put in charge to make the deductions and make the submission to SNIT for proper calculation and all of that.
And yet,
nobody does that. And you see, those people, surprisingly, you find that those people who are supposed to be doing the deduction, the calculation, and making the payments in respect of these vets, have theirs paid. They have their SNIT paid.
They do.
They have theirs paid.
Because they have a way, they know how to check it. You know, so the worry for me concerning these vet doctors is continuously we train them. The school set up for veterinary services, they train them, they go through the school, and they come out. Of course, when they come out, my worry is, didn't government know that these people are supposed to be employed? Because they can't be in school forever. When they graduate, we have to employ them. So if you think your system doesn't operate in such a way where you can accommodate them, then at some point, maybe we have to discuss even stopping that training and probably in quotes, exporting these ones that you trained to be of, benefit elsewhere. Because you can't keep someone's child in the country locked down, you're not using them, and yet you won't find jobs for them, but you expect them to stay. We have to find
that will feed into the
then.
concept of, I remember 10 years ago or so when Ghana discovered oil, nearly every university in this country started an oil and gas program. And it's been like that since forever. There was a time when journalism was the ish, everybody wanted to, which brought the proliferation of media schools. You know, a lot of them don't actually offer quality. They just, take their monies and wishy-washy, and then the people graduate and they can have, the firm footing to do the job of journalists. Then came the era of having nurses. So you had a lot of people training as nurses and medicines counter assistants, as whatever, PAs, and you find out that the quality yet still is, and all we have the National Accreditation Board do is to publish on their website that these schools are not accredited and so you should avoid them. Who closes down those schools?
And what happens to the students
who have gone through them, those whose monies have been taken from them? Because there's supposed to be a certain standard of education.
The state's job is to protect its citizens.
Beautiful. Standard of education. So if that standard of education is not there, and you as the supervisory body can only say, avoid it, don't go there. I mean, really,
let's hope. Johnny, let's hope.
And we do know that even our public universities, from the Legon to Tech to GIJ to all the other UCC, they always have a shortfall of the numbers that they can take. They always have a shortfall. So that is what gave rise to the central universities, the Methodist University, the Anglican University. That's what gave rise to them. Now, years after that particular arrangement, what have we done if we think that some of these private institutions are substandard? What have we done about the about the mainline universities to be able to accommodate some more?
I am praying that does it mean that they come directly under the Agricultural Ministry? Food and Agriculture Ministry. So let's hope that with this story we are told that the petition has been sent to Parliament, the President, Ministry of Agric and some other stakeholders. Let's hope that they will take action. But this is simply not fair at all.
They're giving Parliament or government a 31-day ultimatum to resolve issues surrounding the employment and housemanship. And I hope that it is, attended to because it's unfair.
Maybe we need to drive this point home. Back in the day, and people still do it, where somebody has a dog, he observes that the dog has become abnormal and is behaving funny. They just put the dog in the boot of a car, maybe drive to a very distant place where the dog is not able to trace his way back, and they leave the dog. So the dog becomes a stray dog. Add to that, we're supposed to have, per the FDA's own regulation, we're supposed to have, abattoirs, where meat is supposed to be processed, taken in cold vans, taken to the market where you and I can go and buy. Today, go to all those makeshift abattoirs. The meat is literally on the floor, close to the gutter, in unsanitary conditions. And these are supposed to be checked by veterinary doctors to ensure that the quality is up to scratch. And these people are there. They are not employed. In the meantime, the state itself doesn't have the abattoirs. In Accra, we have only one which belongs to the state. The other two belongs to private citizens. And look at the number of our citizens in Accra. It keeps growing. Don't talk about Kumasi, talk about Takra, talk about Wenchi, talk about all those places. And you have people in authority who are supposed to ensure this. I remember I did a documentary about this in 2013, back in the day. The story hasn't changed up to this day. It is so sad. And you find the boys standing on top of the wele in the bucket of the pickup vehicles. They're standing on top of with all their sweaty bodies, and they are burning the meat with cat eyes. This is, we are sitting on a time bubble, and we are surprised that we are getting all the cancers and all the complicated ailments. We think that it is prayer that will solve all these things. God didn't put our heads on top of our neck for nothing. He put brains inside, not sand. Good morning.
Anyway, guys, let's touch on another headline before we wrap up. The Finder says ECG deal suffers setback as MEDA moves deadline from September to December 31. Also, government allocates 10 million Ghana cedis to support young women entrepreneurs. Then President unveils 10-year cashew master plan, and then Basti to headline New Glow campaign. But guys, I'm excited about the women entrepreneurs because at least 10 million cedis to support them certainly does go to help women in that always is the issue because we've heard many people support women entrepreneurs or young women to try and get them on board to be empowered because we know how social life is when women are not empowered. There's so many issues that trickle down, but oftentimes it doesn't land in good hands or it's not used properly and appropriately. So I believe that government will have to be open to us to let us know each and every use of that money that's being allocated to the women because we want to see results.
I mean, exactly, that's the point. These funds are all over the country. The key thing is whether they are serving the purpose for which they were set up. We're told this one, the Minister for Business Development announced it at a women's conference in Accra here, and we're told that it is to target SMEs. brilliant idea. But the point really is, if these funds get to those that should have them, because this is not the first time we're having a fund set up for either women or the youth or the disabled or, I mean,
any underprivileged group.
And yet, we don't seem to be making any headway. So we're just hoping and praying that this one will really get to those who need them. There are several women
out there. I know a few. For example, Juliet Gao, who does gasok, very brilliant mix of gari and sugar and kati and things, you know, and she does a lot of flavors, vanilla, chocolate, and all of that. I don't know if Juliet has ever received any of this funding before. Ivona Kowa, who does pudding masters, so variety of pudding with chocolate, with vanilla and all of it. I don't know if she's gotten that before. Edua Meni does a lot of fabrics and clothes and bags and shoes and all of that. I don't know if she's gotten that before. And they've been doing it for quite some time. So where do these funds go? That's it. And what is the criteria for assessing those funds? I know that there are women who are farmers, who are rice farmers, women like Babina Finwalker here, who runs a small farm. Where do those monies go? If you say you are supporting women, where do you take the monies? How do they assess it? Where do they apply for it? And what is the monitoring system? What do you give them the money to do?
Exactly. You know, unfortunately,
and all these 4 women I've mentioned who are running their businesses on their own, they haven't gotten a peswa from any of these funds.
You know, when you talk to them, they'll say, well, they didn't come to access these funds. But Johnny, what
Did
I
you
even
show
have,
them where to access the funds?
Exactly. What I even have a problem with is usually it's people who are well connected who end up getting these funds. I stand to be corrected, but that's what I think. Because the woman in the north out there, I haven't heard many of them come out to say that they've been able to access this fund and it's helping them do A, B, C, D. It's usually people who know people who know people. Otherwise, when you're in some deprived community, this funds will never reach you. Then what are we doing?
The painful part is that, for example, if you go to the north, the women who are entrepreneurs who have maybe an acre or 2 of maybe groundnuts or an acre or 2 of shea butter, and they harvest it, they go through the raw process of doing it. Then they get somebody from any of the cities who has the money. It comes and then it throws it at them. It takes away all the thing. I mean, and so they become now dependent, tied to their apron strings. If we empower these women, I tell you what, they will, because even with their meager resources, they're able to take care of themselves, their husbands, and their children, and even sponsor people. I know a woman at Kaneshi around the Bishop area. She's from Pusiga. She's been selling, Bright knows her, Segobe. She's been selling roasted corn and granules since the 80s. I knew her when I was in primary school. Her 3 daughters have gone to university through that means. And she herself has taken very good care of herself, put up a fine structure where she handles. And you see, she's never gotten a single support from any of these things. And yet, over the last 10 or 15 years, we've been talking about support for these women. So where do the monies go?
Even in the, you see, I wish the story had told us about how this money can be accessed, but it says that the ministry will be working with all categories of businesses, from traders to agribusiness, among others. And the story says that women across the country to take advantage of the fund. And I'm wondering,
where do they go? Where? If, for example, say Gobe, pudding master wants to go and access the fund, where do they go? If you direct them, they should go to the social welfare department, and they can fill out, and people can come and assess and check the nature of their business and how they are running it. Fine. But if you are saying we will work.
Anyway, at least they should try going online, see what the ministry has on its website.
Telling us what happened at the conference, and that the modalities are there, and that these women will be made to know that they can go here or go there to access.
Experience has taught us that after these conumties and all those public show, nothing really happens.
Anyway, guys, the long-awaited special prosecutor, Mr. Martin Amidu, has been approved. What do you think about it as we run this morning? Let's hear what you have to say.
Parliament has unanimously approved Martin Amidu as special prosecutor, and it was only MP for Tamale North, Alasan Suini, who voted against his approval. If we recall, during his vetting, he promised to be free and fair in the delivery of his duties. And so let's see how that goes. And so we want to find out from the public the expectations of the office and what are some of the corruption cases they expect him to pursue. This is Daily Rant. Let's keep talking.
The battle has ended. After a long time of vetting, Parliament has approved
Martin Amidu. So we thank God for it. But one thing Ghanaians to assure it, because we don't know about the other party, the A and B, that is the NDC and the MPP. Some are jubilating Martin Amidu approval, others too are against for it. But we should remember, it's going to be a free affair. It's not going to be in one party, in favor of one party. It's going to be a free and fair judgment. So my advice to Ghanaians is we should be careful.
Will Martin Amidu be fair? I mean, that's my legitimate question that I'm asking. Looking at things, I'm not sure Martin Amidu will be fair.
Oh yeah, if you watch the betting, he said it will be free and fair.
He would say it because for the saying sake. But to me, looking at the man has a bitterness in him. The man has a bitterness. He had a certain mind against NDC.
Well, I think it's going to be fair because who bring him there knows what is going on for the long past years and years. So today, when they brought him, also the person who brought him also have to know, even him, if also committed, he have to go there. So it's like something like this foreign system now we are getting now. When you corrupt the system of the country, they have to bring you justice to speak and tell how so amount left, how these things there, something like that. So I'm appreciated. You understand? For all these things that they are going to do. So I thank God with MPP.
Wow, we are Juma, who said, would this kind of wow, be facing court no. Instead, I see about when Juma find Sunday, send a gun, Benya, and EJB, a one or so. Money and paimu. When they are one fan to her, when they are one fan to her, say, you mean the Yamia to say, Wababoko, Yajino so.
There is a big problem. Because the problem to me is Martin Amidu approval, fine. But what made them to approve him, to give him this position? What was the motive behind that?
But we all know
he was from NDC.
Vigilante. And then if you talk about someone who really wants to fight corruption, he's maybe one person that comes to mind quickly.
Because he was lambasting about this Wyoming, that is why they are giving him this position. He was in Ghana for so many years ago. Since Kufuor time, have he ever come out to say anything about anybody?
But you know one thing about his integrity has been praised by the parliament because they all praise his integrity. It means that they all agree that he has this integrity and it's very high. Look, so parliament,
what I'm saying is that for the past years, there are so many corruption. Since Kufuor times up to today, corruption has been going on. He never say anything about any corruption until the time when he came against Wyoming. Apart from Wyoming case, which case have Martin Amidu come out to talk about?
Let's look at this. Who do you think should have manned that position? Who do you think would have qualified?
Attorney General even have the best. That is the best place to act on these things. Attorney General is there for us as a nation. They can act.
My brother,
you see, I feel they be create office amana yesikamu ana said when you sika say ya when you sika say and they be say
and so also go for 8 discount at least yes sika can na say discount yeah for
the you talk about free and fair, and my brother here was saying that if an MPP man was prosecuted, would Martin Amidu forward his document to the Attorney General? And the answer is yes or no. You see why? Because so far they would say they are in power, and then Martin Amidu first, I'm sure he's going to audit the past ministers. So it will be very hard for Martin Amidu to come forward and say this man, MPP man, has done this, because their party is in power. But he can bring an allegation of saying this and this, because during his vetting, he brought a word perception. When he was questioned about the corruption of JM, he said it's perception.
So on what criteria, even on what criteria are they going to be to select the case? And just as my brother said, which are they going to start from? Yes, is it from the Gold Coast time that we are going to start, or some just few years?
Yes. What you're asking, I'll have to ask this question. What are some of the cases you want him to pursue? Some of the cases.
No, he has
they set up the office.
So
they have to know.
And he's asking, is it from the
since the Burgos time
this current one?
On what criteria
they should bring it out for us.
Is there
Maybe
he's
going to prosecute those from the year 2000,
yes, exactly,
or 2009, or 19 something, or
from
19
which
something.
year is it going to start? We don't know.
Ahyase no bia amboni dimpa nto bia ye nwure ya mfa gidie no amma no efri fitase wo ntama obia esuro se what me ka asamo no featuring nti wo se da wo hu se obia eka against no no won so fa nukure endedi.
Okay, you guys want it to be free and fair. Yeah. But who on this earth is a neutral person? I just want to know who on earth is a neutral person. My mom will tell you it's only God. So at least there's some sort of neutrality somewhere. So let's wait for him to start before we can judge him.
Let me say something. Let me say something to you, these guys. Free and fair. There's a free and fair in this world. As from president, minister, and everything. You know, I came from Taiwan. In this world, no country ever took its president and put in prison, except Taiwan. Free and fair. You understand me? So if no ever, nobody did. Only them.
Brazil also did that.
No, they didn't put it now. They didn't put it.
But at least they
couldn't put our own. You are stepping down, and they put anchor for you straight to jail before they start to judge you. So if Ghana today, these people can be free and fair, Ghana will move forward. I'm telling you.
That is what we are praying for. If only
yes,
he will be fair. Yes. But it can't be fair.
You see, maybe now we are practicing.
I don't know. You see, I have a serious point. I don't know where is he going to start from. Is he going to start from
so that's
now?
What cases do you want him to prosecute? Just like 3 cases you want.
Which case is he going to start with?
So if
now.
So
which case is he going to start?
He might be watching. Okay, so if you maybe give him, let's say, 3 cases, maybe he might start prosecuting.
I don't know. The first case I know he talked about was the Wyoming case. Yes. Apart from that, I don't know him talking about any case. You understand? And if it's so photo, yeah, that is the second case. So which case again?
One thing that is worrying on my mind is why are we being political about this? Can't we be, open-minded and let's allow him to work without we, attaching politics and all that?
Okay, this is where I am.
No.
This is where I am. Let's open-minded and let this guy work.
Yes, we can't be open-minded.
What's the behavior?
The way
we can't be open-minded.
Castigated the previous government. The current government, look at the things that happens. Since this government came to power, Martin Amidu have never ever uttered a word against them. And a lot happens about corruption. The boss, contaminated fuel, a whole lot of issue. 1 man, 100,000, 1 man, they catch for seats. Martin Amidu did not utter a word on it. Why?
Because they will not give him.
But during the NDC time, immediately something happens. The next hour you hear Martin. The next minute you hear Martin Amidu on radio. You understand me? That is why I'm saying the man will not be fair.
Looking at Oreya's posture, if let's say they pursue an NDC person, let's assume.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be better about it.
No,
but if it's, let's say, we go for an NPP person, then then the person is neutral.
And that is true.
That makes you
no.
This way.
That is true.
If you pursue NDC,
that one is minister.
No, it's not. We will look at the case, what's happened, and then we will follow the case. You see, we will not sit idly watching him. Immediately they say, example, this minister has done this, so special prosecutor is going to scrutinize him. We also started following the case. You understand me? We also started following. We will not sit down for him to bring us report. So before he will get his report, final report, we also got ours. So we compare it and see.
And continue. Confirming him as a special prosecutor, it means he's starting work anytime soon. So maybe you have any message to give him. But me, I want him to be neutral. That's what I will tell him. So I don't know what you want.
Yeah, we all want him to be neutral. With me, I'm praying for him to be neutral. If he is neutral, then I think we might get somebody in this country that will also follow his steps.
Okay.
It will help us a lot if only he will be neutral.
I mean, man, one day. No for here, Jumano. No, be uncle say the bonny and woody friend no. Yes, I know what's here. As I catch them.
What do you have to tell him?
Free and fair is free and fair. There's nothing we can talk about it again because free and fair is free and fair. Do you understand? I saw it in abroad, free and fair. Constitution deny this, take you to prison. is free and fair, then one another will not do again because our people are eating money too much.
It should be justice, because he said it through his veteran that it's going to be a free and fair. It's not going to be on one party to another party. It should be justice, prosecute everything equally, and then send it to the Attorney General for the last year.
If only Martin Amidu can be neutral and then do his justice, free and fair, then he has proved me wrong. But me, I don't believe in that. Martin Amidu cannot be free and fair person. He cannot be neutral. I'm telling you for the facts.
It's a clarion call from the public, and they want Martin Amidu to be free and fair in the discharge of his duties. Just know you watching home can also partake in this discussion. Log on to our various social media platforms. On Facebook is News on TV3, and on Twitter is a News TV3. We came to you from Nima here at Accra. Thanks for watching, and keep watching NewDay.
Welcome back. Now, Daily Graphic is starting this morning says that government will diversify agri. President is saying that as he launched the cashew development plan there. That's a story from the Brunafo region. And Akufo-Addo initiates peace in Togo. A story is captured on page 2. House approves Martin Amidu amidst thunderous applause. That's the story on the Statesman. The finder says the ECG deal suffers setback as MEDA moves deadline from September to December 31. And Heritage is talking about vet doctors abandoned. These are some of the newspapers I have with me this morning. My guest to do the talking, the national organizer, the Nasara national coordinator of the New Patriotic Party, Kamadi Abdullah, is here with me. Good morning.
Good morning.
You have been missing.
I have actually been missing.
The campaign has not taken you away from TV.
Right, I thought you nearly said the national youth organizer. Then you went in.
Okay, maybe I was prophesying.
Maybe. No, for national organizer, obviously your prophecy might hold, but not in that regard. Okay. I'm not contesting to become the national organizer.
National youth organizer.
Absolutely. I'm looking at how I'm going to mobilize massively the youth of this country to make sure the NDC stays in opposition, if you like, forever. Of course, that's very important.
All right.
So how is it going?
Great.
Been a while, actually.
Yes, TV3 is fine.
And NewDay is solid.
Great.
I've always been following, and my good brother is really struggling in opposition a bit. After refusing Martin,
he's a member of parliament.
After going to speak English and be responded to with law, they had to keep quiet.
And a member of the NDC, Honorable Adam Mutawakil, is also here. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're doing great too.
I'm doing good. It's been a while.
Yes, you are not campaigning. You are just making sure your constituents are good and fine.
Yes. I have to represent them well, both in national and then at the local level.
Right.
So,
gentlemen, welcome to NewDay this morning. Let's start with Parliament yesterday. The Finder carries a story, and the Statesman has a story too. But let me quickly read what's in the Finder about the special prosecutor. The story, as captured on page 17, says that Parliament... All right. Says the Parliament, by consensus, yesterday approved Mr. Martin Amidu, the President's nominee as Special Prosecutor, to head the soon-to-be-created Office of the Special Prosecutor to address public office corruption. The majority side of the House, the NPP, shouted a resounding yea at the plenary when the Speaker, Professor Eronokwe, put the question after the debate on the report of the Appointment Committee to approve the nominee. However, a lone voice from the minority side of the NDC shouted no amidst total silence from the minority side. Mr. Joseph Wasewusu, First Deputy Speaker of Parliament and MP for Bekwai, who is also the chairman of the Appointment Committee, presenting the report of the committee, said the committee satisfied itself with the nomination and recommended that the nominee be approved by consensus. According to the report, Al-Hassan Suini voted against the nominee's approval by the House. Mr. also reported to the plenary that the committee observed that given Mr. Martin Amidu's high standard of competence, forthrightness in answering questions, independent-mindedness, selflessness, solid principles, and in-depth appreciation of the task ahead backed by his experience, the nominee qualified to serve as the special prosecutor. Right. The other issue that the paper talks about is the fact that despite the approval, Dr. Dominic Ayini, Deputy Ranking Member of the Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, raised a point of order on how, on 2 occasions, which were both overruled by the first Deputy Speaker, who had been in the chair, and later by the Speaker, Professor Okwe. And that's in relation to his case at the court. That's the story here. Come on, let me begin with you.
Really, I thought somebody from Parliament could have actually started to tell us what actually happened in Parliament.
He's been approved. So I think the news is that he's been approved.
But that's fine.
Despite the point of orders raised by the MP for Bolga.
Very well.
But come on, the fight against corruption, once this has been done, then it looks like we have a clear roadmap to deal with corruption. Is that the case?
Well, intent is as good as the actus reus, or mens rea is as good as the actus reus. Let me first begin by thanking the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for being bold and courageous, okay, in the show of, if you like, what looks like a clampdown on corruption. And clearly, I mean, I'm happy that from all angles are hailing him and thanking him for the bold initiative. That is why I said the mens rea is as good as the actus reus. So long as the President has indicated to us with a solid intent and has gone further beyond that intent to institute, if you like, a body which would have to deal with such special cases, which would have to investigate, okay, establish, if you like, prima facie, or establish solid cases, then bring them before a competent court of jurisdiction. I guess the President is on course, and I guess the government of the day is on course,
so
and I guess the people of Ghana are on course, because the media have always spoken about this canker. And I've always said that, look, this is what is milking us. This is what is killing us. And we've said this over and over again. Government upon government comes and we don't really see it. Yes, we've had institutions in place, given the prosecutorial powers, if you like, from the Attorney General. We can name them. IOCO is there, formerly Serious Fraud Office. We have, Shiraj and the rest. We have them, which is even given from the Constitution and all that. I mean, all these bodies exist. But where are we today? Point is that we are still where we are. Now the President comes up, or a flag bearer comes up to say, in my manifesto, inshallah, when I'm voted for, I am going to ensure that there will be a special prosecutor in place to make corruption very, very much unattractive to people in this country. So that at least the waste, okay, the money that goes down the drain, okay, the leakages in the system will be checked. And when some of these things are checked, I have no doubt that Ghana Beyond Aid syndrome would be achieved. Now, on Martin Amidu, a very solid man, a principled man, a man who spoke the truth and they came after him after citing a gargantuan form of corruption being perpetrated against the state. And he, being a minister of state, watching and said, look, Mother Ghana is bigger than any political party. Mother Ghana is bigger than my party. Mother Ghana is bigger than NPP. Mother Ghana is bigger than all of us here. Therefore, I will speak up. He spoke up and he was booted out by the people who claim today they have given us a credible man. Very interesting. He was booted out. Having been booted out, he sat and kept his cool and started writing his articles, making sure that his constitutional advocacy would not be taken away from him, especially as it's enshrined and embedded in the Constitution that he has the freedom to express himself, which he continued to do. The same people who claim the credible man they have given to us, okay, will descend on him with what? All manner of, if you like, vilifications, insults, whatever, babies with sharp teeth will descend on him. You know the babies with sharp teeth. They will descend on him.
He himself said those comments were perception.
Well, he said actionable intelligence. Actionable intelligence. Of course, if you like, you can define them as perceptions. And I can tell you, you and I sit here, and trust me, about 85% of politics, okay, is deemed to be perception. Nonetheless, even in the court, we don't talk of bias. We talk of likelihood of bias. Okay? Clearly, you cannot just say that I am impugning bias on behalf of a particular, on the part of a particular judge. You impugn what we call likelihood of bias. So still on perception. Corruption perception index. How do we arrive at it? Perception. So it tells you that born out of perception could be gotten reality and facts. Martin Amidu has been on this tangent and he has been consistent. He's never attacked anybody. He says, look, I will live in harmony with everybody, decent people, but not live in harmony with criminals. That was a very excellent killer. The minority were all over. Over 180 something questions were asked that day. About 130 something came from the minority. The minority leader alone asked over 51 questions out of the 136. It tells you how tough they were. And it tells you that, look, how much they didn't need this man to be there. But the president said, look, let me go beyond.
You sure about that?
Why? Of course.
But they approved him at the committee level?
Well, they did what? They approved him.
Yes.
I just cited over 180 something questions. I'm not taking away their right not to ask questions.
Exactly,
but you heard the questions.
Exactly the point.
And of course, you saw the articles they pulled out. And I tell you once again,
it was written by the man himself.
Of course. And I tell you, the perception, of course, rules, sometimes judges it all. And of course, if you listen to the questions, if you look at their demeanor, if you look at their posture, these are people who felt this man was not suitable to be there. Why? They've run to court. Even before they went to court to challenge his age and all that, they indicated that, look, this man, we will not agree. All these things were out there. But we are saying that, look, the president has been resolute. The president has been bold. The president has been somebody who has told us that, look, I am going to embark on it, and I will look beyond partisan lenses. He didn't go for any MPP man. He didn't go for any PNC man.
Wrap up.
He said, look, I am going for a man who has what it takes to deal with us. He's grounded in law. And no wonder, when the man sat before the vetting committee, he spoke law and they were speaking English. I'm telling you, they spoke serious English. When the man was speaking law, and telling them that, look, what we are talking about is not this way. So I am happy, and I want to congratulate him wherever he is this morning. He's a very solid uncle from the north as well, and I'm happy that an illustrious son of our side, okay, has been given or reposed in some confidence, and I'm so glad that this has happened. Thank you so much, and thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Parliament, for passing him. Thank you for everybody. I know what, but the current twist, the very man who even voted, the single man who voted against Matamidu, made a U-turn last night.
Oh, really?
So you didn't made a U-turn again. No, I was with him on a... Why? It was in the morning, I was with him on a different settle. I was with Suyino on GH1, where he stood firm and said, look, the man is not suitable. And that he was going to make sure they vote against it. And that day, he was even anticipating secret ballot in court, in Parliament. And at the end of the day, the man himself has made a U-turn. No, it's good. It's good. My brother has done that.
Okay, so he's not here. Well, I'm grateful.
All right.
Honorable Mutawaki, so according to Kamal, is the minority against the special prosecutor approved by Parliament?
You see, he just ranting and I just laugh.
What did he say, ranting?
First of all,
Suhuyini didn't change his mind. English.
First of all, let me just correct it. Suhuyini didn't change his mind last night. It was in the morning. And that was why on the morning on the show. Listen to me. If you meet him in the morning, doesn't mean that is why when the first deputy speaker in presenting with the chairman in presenting the report, amended the report to be overwhelmingly majority decision to consensus. So it was corrected before the report was finally leaked. So it wasn't last night.
But he changed his mind. No, that's what is essential.
Two, I think from the beginning he was appointed. Minority intention was clear, not as he said that we intend not to. I think we made it clear that we were going to hold, to vet him, irrespective of Honorable Dr. Ayini's filing a receipt at the Supreme Court. So that tells you that as minority, we were ready to do what is deserved of us. So nobody should link Honorable Dr. Ayini to the whole minority.
Oh,
he
really?
has his personal view, yes.
Oh, really?
Yes. So that must be made clear. Two, anybody of that stature coming to Parliament for vetting, and you expect us to ask 10 questions.
Oh. Well,
What will you have considered?
Before? You have asked 2 questions before.
That is.
You've asked 2 questions before on vetting committee.
What didn't you do to Honorable Fifi Kwete?
2 questions you asked.
What didn't you do to Honorable Fifi Kwete when he came before? It is very important that when you make utterances in public, we peruse it when you come before the committee. And that was exactly what the minority did.
Oh, really?
And he's one of his citizens. He made it clear that the former President Mahama was corrupt and admitted that it was a perception. Because the moment you make it definite, that means you have evidence. So everybody was willing to see the evidence.
That's not true.
And then he made it like, oh, it was perception. And that is why the minority saw that if it is perception, then 2, there were certain cases that he could have pursued when he was Attorney General and one dealing with fire officers, which he didn't, and said that there was pressure from above. And that is why Honorable Muntaka indicated, we don't want you to occupy this position again. And then you said there was pressure from above, so you abandon it. Very clear. On the floor of Parliament, I think Honorable Ayini has the mandate as a member of Parliament to arrest a motion. And he was within the standing orders. So he wanted to arrest the motion in respect of the suit at the Supreme Court. The Speaker has the right to listen and then pass judgment. But I heard the majority leader, he's not following the standing orders. He's not. Then I get surprised that when it fits them, the standing orders operates. When he doesn't, the standing orders do not.
It's as the result of...
We learn lessons because of the behavior of the majority leader and the Speaker of Parliament. And I can set 2 instances. One was Ameri. Everybody knows that once a motion is moved and seconded, the decision is for the House. Pay a debate for the House to decide. And that was what happened yesterday. The motion was moved, seconded, members were given the opportunity to debate. And at the end of the day, a decision was arrived at. And it was consensus. Ameri, a motion by our rules, seconded must be debated. The Speaker didn't allow it. He breached the same rules that he wants people to follow and referred to a committee which we disagree. Second was the special petroleum tax just last week. You see, when you get to the consideration and you are reading the clauses, any member can do an amendment. And when it got to that amendment at the consideration stage, Honorable Muntaka stood for more than 5 minutes. He wasn't recognized. And they made sure that the question was put before he was recognized. And when he decided to talk about the amendment, they said, oh, that time has passed. He should have done it at the right time. Meanwhile, at that particular time, he was up, but the Speaker didn't recognize him. Honorable Minority Leader got up at another point. The Speaker did not recognize him. Are you getting my point?
So these
to
are
the point that
of the rules
I don't know. So when you intentionally flout them and get to a point where you can rule that person off and allow that person to come in, it becomes, the rules becomes shaky and people might decide to do A or B in order to get your attention. Allow him to speak. At the end of the day, you are the Speaker. You take the decision and put it to the House. So yesterday, you see, Parliament was turned to a court. And I thought that we're going e-Parliament. That is why the consoles, they have to change them. Now we have some tablet on it. And anytime a member quotes the Constitution in the safe Parliament, it flashes out so that everybody can follow. When you go, the votes and proceedings, the orders paper were in that, so that you don't necessarily need a paper.
So you're suggesting that those are allowed?
But now...
You don't need physical copies of...
They were not given even other papers in the 6th Parliament. The 7th Parliament, we've gone back. We're no more concentrating on those things.
So your worry is when the Speaker is asking for a physical copy of the document?
Yes, like it's in a court. Okay. It is, yes, you can provide it. Once you have the electronic one, normally they will allow you to do it. Then you later present a hard copy to the table. That is what I've learned all over the 5 years I've been in Parliament. People raise issues. Even if that person had a hard copy, he has to use it to make his case. After that, then he lays it. So if I have a hard copy, I can't go and lay it and then come and communicate. I have to use it to make my point. And after that, I lay it. If it is electronic, at the end of the day, you are required to print it and submit it. And that is it. Now let's go to...
Oh, you have spent your time
you are in a hurry.
Technicalities in Parliament.
The president appointed the prosecutor. We have approved. But can he alone fight corruption? I don't think so. He needs everybody to be able. The institutions must function. Yoko came, we thought it would solve corruption cases. And as he's indicated, they did because they didn't get the cooperation of the stakeholders, ordinary Ghanaians, opinion leaders. 2, the president's intention is clear, but his utterances do not support what Martin Amidu.
What are his utterances?
I'm coming. In the State of the Nation's address, we all know, for example, BOST, contaminated fuel. The minister set up a committee to come with his report. As we speak today, the report hasn't come out. The president came to Parliament and cleared him. We are all aware, fuel diversion, premise fuel diversion. Ghana lost 22 million Ghana cedis. As we speak, there haven't been any investigation that has said this person did it and therefore it was wrong or somebody should be punished. The president came to Parliament and cleared him. Ken Bond, Shraj himself, report. The minister himself is not happy with it and has taken it to court. But the president came to Parliament and cleared him. When the president should have allowed things to work. So while you are instituting this, you are clearing the person. Cash for seat scandal. Even before Parliament set a non-partisan committee, the president had cleared the person. So when you, a leader, is setting institutional structures to work, but your utterances go contrary to giving them the leverage to work, there is fear.
I see.
And all the corruption cases under his watch, he came to Parliament and officialized it by clearing all of them. That is very, very dangerous.
That's interesting.
That is very, very dangerous to the fight against corruption. The final one, this the special prosecutor can work very well when the right to information bill is passed, so that that freedom to voluntarily give.
You had all the opportunity to pass. You didn't pass.
It was left with some few clauses.
You didn't pass. You had all the opportunities.
And once new Parliament comes up, it has to
start the process.
1 year gone. It hasn't been laid on the floor of Parliament.
Right.
We are in the second year. Oh, please take
the second month.
We are in the second year. Now going. Nothing has been laid in Parliament. It is quite worrying. If you want to fight against corruption, as they promise, I didn't think that it should take this long for the right to information bill to be laid on the floor of Parliament, for us to pass it so that people will have the freedom to be able to give information.
Come on, are these issues that he's raising, yes, are they worrying?
That's very interesting. He says, BOST issue or BOST matter, President cleared. He says, Ken Bond, President cleared. And the third one was what?
Premise diversion.
Premise diversion. Very interesting. Let me start with the premise diversion. Right. We all agree that this country cannot be turned into a milking cow. If you like, it cannot be turned into a conduit for people to create, loot, and share, like one of our justices at the Apex Court indicated when they were in power. We've all agreed. The premix matter. My good brother should be very truthful to himself. I'm not saying when it happens today, it should be allowed to pass.
What are you
when
saying?
it happened yesterday, it should be allowed to pass. I am only telling him that their hands are equally tainted, if not more than tainted, in that matter, in terms of dealing with the premix.
Are you saying, is
why?
that why,
Under them,
is that why
under
the president
them.
cleared
Find out. I'm only
the
telling
MD?
you see, I'm only saying that, look, this is a nationalistic matter we are
Yes,
dealing
but
with.
are you
And
suggesting
once-
that because the NDC is also involved?
the president never cleared anybody. The president never cleared.
So that's
I am
the argument he
that's the argument
he's
he's
making.
never
Go
cleared
and read the
anyone.
State of the
No,
Nation.
no,
No,
can-
please,
Can
let me
you
land.
react to his concern?
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm
Okay.
doing. And I'm
Right.
saying that, look, let's position ourselves on the national, if you like, pedestal.
Okay.
We should say that, look, all of us have agreed to fight the canker. Whether yesterday or today is wrong. If you have every cause to believe that indeed these are matters that are nagging issues that are killing us as Ghanaians, let's bring them to the fore, bring them out there, and make sure we back them with cogent evidence to help, if you like, establish a wrong, then prosecute. I have no problem. You can sit at your own comfort and say anything. Why? He talks about the Ken Bond matter. Ken Bond, you wrote to the Securities and Exchange Commission in the US, citing, if you like, some wrongs and some infractions and some breach of laws and whatever. What came out of it? Nothing. A whooping amount was given to their foreign affairs, whatever, reps in parliament to run to US, I think Honorable Ablakwa also, to go and then do whatever. You came at zero.
You know
It
what
means
about
that
the Siraj report that listed breaches of...
I read the
law?
Siraj report. The Siraj report, what were the holdings of the Siraj report? The holdings were that the finance minister was not culpable. These were the holdings.
And that he's not
He should
flouted-
understand.
he's not flouted
I am
any
saying
law.
that the Siraj report never established a wrong against the finance minister.
Okay.
The Siraj report clearly indicated that you cannot impugn conflict of interest against the finance minister. And of course you did that. So if the Siraj report had this as his holding, what else are you talking about? So you come and sit down and then make noise, try to stigmatize people when there's
for
nothing.
you, the Siraj report never found anything against the finance minister.
The Siraj report says, if yesterday these were the processes we're using to issue bonds of this nature, if today we follow same processes, and there are infractions, if you like, in the procedure, I think going forward, in the issuance of bond, we should ensure that the proper procedures are instituted to move on. Okay. But the Siraj report ended with what holding? What was the holdings of the Siraj report? You went there citing conflict of interest. Siraj says, look, we cannot see any conflict of interest there. I have no problem. If Franklin Templeton is tempted, look, one of the members of Parliament of NDC,
Come out.
Wait a minute, one of the members of Parliament of NDC told us that he sat in the plane with Franklin Templeton and they came down to this country and drinking tea together. Which was not true.
Come out.
So this tells you how they can lie. You understand? How they can lie.
If you don't have a name, don't...
Come out. If the police suspect you of having perhaps beaten your wife, and so they come to your house to do verification, and they found you with a banned substance, an illegal substance, the police should just turn and go because they didn't come to you because of the illegal substance.
Oh, no.
Is that not what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying. But you see, it depends. You see, the context in which you're coming. If there's a substantive matter given to you, if you like, to investigate,
right?
You have been given a matter. The matter is that whether or not there was conflict of interest. That is the remit of Siraj, or terms of reference of Siraj. Siraj goes through it and says that, look, having interviewed all parties involved, these were the reports we had, I think over 134 pages or something like that. These are the reports that we have. And having interviewed everybody and getting all the book runners who were also involved, we have come to a conclusion that at a point in the issuance of the bond, of the said bond, procedure a bit was reneged on. And therefore, if that procedure was reneged on, which was not harmful, actually, as it were, to the particular bond anyway, Fred never said so. However, we should ensure that we always do things in the context we're supposed to do it and move on. But I am always saying that, look, the major holding of Siraj had to do with the finance minister never did what we call conflict of interest. We never got involved in that.
All right.
That's what you should know.
2 minutes. Honorable
you said the premise dimension, he couldn't...
premise, what?
Let me add to
you know what you did? I said in this country, look at what you did in the premise. What do you do there?
What did you come out?
Over 300 tankers, you always divert them. We know.
We said
over 300 tankers.
$20 million.
That's what you did.
Arrest those people. Go to the Landing Beach Committee members and arrest them. That is where the problem is.
You see?
The president came and cleared them. Let's come to Kembon. There were 3 things that were given out in the report. Conflict of interest, not following proper procedures.
It's not true.
To issuing the bond.
No.
3.
That's not true.
The minister not declaring all his assets.
You didn't read the fees petition to them.
He didn't read.
Come on.
Which is a breach of the Constitution. He did not declare all his assets in the asset declaration form, which is a constitutional requirement.
Was that part of it? It wasn't part of it.
And that
was not part of it.
That was not part of it. Please, maybe you didn't read it well. As we speak, the finance minister, his investment, his interest, he has hidden them from the declaration of his assets. Which is a breach of
the man has declared his assets.
This and gone to their three. They were made them part of the. They were part of it.
So it is not Shraj that found out.
The Shraj report has this 3 ideas.
Yes, the Shraj report found out that indeed there was some interest he should have made known.
No.
But was that part of the reason why Shraj had to undertake the investigation?
The investigation was conflict of interest,
right? But Shraj
which we are not happy.
Great.
But in doing that, Shraj found out certain things that infringes on the Constitution in terms of asset declaration.
Okay, go on.
And when you infringe on that,
the man has declared his assets.
No,
it's not true.
He should have quietly resign and go home. And then we'll come and when we come, we'll prosecute.
Wishes are not horses.
We'll investigate it and prosecute him. Do you get my point? He didn't follow the law. So if you were going to award contract, you did not follow the law. Are you getting my point? But you have done the work. So we should come and praise you.
I can appreciate why you are struggling to
the procurement act is there
for you.
The procurement act is there for a procedure. So if you jump that procedure and then you go and bless this classroom block, you have breached the law. You don't think that because I built this classroom block, but I didn't use proper procedures, I should be vindicated. You have breached the law. If the procedures for issuing of bond, he did not follow in issuing it, he has breached the law.
Right.
And 2, especially when over 90%, when over 90% of the substitution went to a particular company, it is quite worrying. And that is why I'm saying when we come, we'll revisit it.
When are you coming?
Next, by 2021,
I'm grateful.
We'll be sworn in.
Let's go to the daily graphic. Before we talk to I'm grateful, gentlemen.
When we are sworn in,
anyway.
All right. Let's touch this story, this daily graphic story about diversifying agriculture, because the president yesterday launched the 10-year cashew development plan in Winchi, in the Bonafo region. And the president said government's determination to diversify the country's agriculture by transforming, among others, cashew into a major cash crop and foreign exchange earner. So the cashew development plan 2017 to 2027, developed by the Ghana Export Promotion Authority in collaboration with the Cashew Industry Association of Ghana, aims at expanding the present production of raw cashew nuts from 70,000 tons to 300,000 tons by 2027. We're told by the paper that cashew is currently Ghana's leading Greek non-traditional export, raking in about $197 million received from agricultural non-traditional export sector. So the president said that the successful implementation of the Planting for Food and Jobs program in the first year had encouraged government to rope in a number of cash crops to boost the rural economy. That's the story in the daily graphic. Kamal, let me once again come to you. Cashew, we are touching it. Planting for jobs, food and jobs, we have touched it. Are we making headway?
We are. You see, when you bring in a prudent government to assist manage your economy. When you bring in people who care about the youth of this country, I mean the young ones in this country, to manage your economy, this is the way we will go. And these are the good stories you'll be getting. Less than 2 years in government. Policies and programs are well articulated, well put in place by a president who, of course, told us in his first State of the Nation address that I am in a hurry. I am in a hurry to save Ghana. I am in a hurry to get Ghana working again. His work is talk.
And are you feeling the food and jobs program?
Why not?
You are.
Today as we sit, farmers in the north, where my brother comes from, in fact, a chunk portion of them are peasant farmers. They dwell on what they actually, harvest. Farmers in the northern part of Ghana, who hitherto, when they had John Dramani Mahama, the president of the Republic of Ghana then, in office, were denied access to fertilizer in terms of issuing subsidy to them. The president of the Republic of Ghana today, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, under his program, has ensured that those peasant farmers, those farmers up north, are enjoying the subsidy and fertilizer is in abundance for them. That is a fact, and my brother cannot run away from it. It tells you the boost that is given to the agriculture sector. If you are buying a fertilizer bag of 100 Ghana cedis, the president of the Republic of Ghana says 50% of it is off.
In the past, it was free.
In the past, let me give you the free. No, it's not true. The free, that you see, is two programs. The cash crop called cocoa. We had a program, or they instituted a program, and of course we have to commend them for that, to say that, look, fertilizer be given free of charge to our cocoa farmers to help in that sector. But I'm telling you, let's distinguish between that and those cereals, legumes, and whatever farmers up there, okay, who were struggling to get fertilizer, they didn't have. You understand? So there are two things. Let's not mix it.
Okay, so
and of course, it was free for cocoa, but not free for, if you like, general farming. So clearly, the general farming were actually feeling the pinch when they didn't have money for it. The president came in less than 1 year. He said, look, 50% must go off that and make sure fertilizer is available for them. Today, food is in abundance. You can go to buffer stock and look at how much people have been asked to ensure that they supply food to government, if you like, warehouses.
You don't think if food was in abundance, it should reflect in what we buy?
Why? In this country, have you heard in a report when they were in power, if you wanted to pan fufu in your house, you go to Cote d'Ivoire to buy cassava and banana, and plantain. Come to Ghana and then pan fufu. When they were in power, it was clear. It's common knowledge. Have you ever heard that someone has traveled to Cote d'Ivoire to buy bodier or buy plantain and buy cassava to come and pan fufu? Under NDC, we went to Cote d'Ivoire and bought banche. We went to Cote d'Ivoire and bought cassava. Today, under the 1 year reign of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, I am telling you, agriculture has seen a boost. On the cashew matter, very excellent innovation, great innovation. And once again, I want to thank the Minister for Agriculture, my own uncle, Honorable Akoto, and of course, the President as well, and his team. I have no doubt that the economic management team that we have today is one of the excellent teams that we've ever had in the Fourth Republican Constitution. And I have no doubt that we are where we are today in terms of seeing these positive trends because we have the able hands on deck. This initiative is laudable. Cashew is something we need to actually push. And you know what? Let's go even beyond cashew. You know these white beans? It's a huge market out there. We are not getting the youth involved. We are not getting ourselves going in. Mechanized farming should be seen to actually be part of us. The last time I had the opportunity of going to China, I said, let me use the speed train, travel from Beijing to Shanghai. In the train, being inquisitive, said, look, my windows were wide open, watching out there. All the little villages or the small village we passed through, farming activity was mad. You won't just see a forest lying there, fallow. No. Every single area or acre is used for farming. And I want to see Ghana putting this in place. And that is what the government of today is committed to doing. And I'm happy that we are making farming attractive now to the young ones and to many people. And I appeal and admonish the young ones out there. Please, we have a lot to do. Our degrees can be kept all right. The white-collar jobs are non-existent. All of us cannot be in the functional jobs. let us make sure that after getting our degree, let's think out of the box. Let's ensure that we augment or we try to support the government with this laudable initiative so that we can, even if it's 1 acre or 2 acres, go into some of these things. And trust me, you will be where we want it to be. All of us need to have this national orientation to move forward. But we shouldn't politicize this. I want to see NDC coming out to sit down and say that, look, cashew farming must actually be given a boost. Okay. I want to see my brother who is going to speak now telling us that this is a laudable idea and that we should make sure Ghana moves forward. That's what is important.
You are coaching him.
No, I'm only telling him that Ghanaians want to hear that.
Okay, so grateful. All right. So diversifying agriculture, and we are swinging from planting for food and jobs to developing cashew. That is a good thing.
It's a good one. Yes. Let me come. It didn't start today. Let me come. And I want to take my brother, maybe he forgot when they left office in 2008. You know, in 2008, we were still importing maize and those things from the World Food Program. And when I came to office as a DC, they used to bring them and supply to certain parts of my constituency, now then district. We introduced what we call the block farming system. Maybe he cannot remember.
Oh, well, who cannot remember?
Maybe he has forgotten. The block farming system, and that is what revamped the buffer stock company. And the block farming system, government will provide you, will plow for you, will give you the fertilizer, will give you the seeds. Then when you finish, then you now share. You can plant it for food and job. Farmers are paying half of the money up front. That is what you are
for fertilizer?
For fertilizer. You up front. Let me come. Let me finish. Block farm, go and I was very much involved. In fact, 2010, it was the national launch was done in my district. And everybody will attest to that. Now, you say planting for food and jobs. Farmers pay upfront parts even before you do it. Then you now classify them as getting jobs when they are already doing it. And you say it has brought so much. I want to ask.
And has not helped the farmers?
I want to ask, when have you been to the north? And have you asked a bag of maize?
You are not allowed to ask questions on the show. You are only allowed to ask.
I can give him answers.
Whether he has asked for a bag of maize at this time. Do you know something?
I can appreciate it. When you are struggling, you tell yourself
at this time of the year, that is immediately after harvesting. So we expect the price of maize and all that to drop drastically because of harvesting.
This is after harvesting period.
Yes, that's after harvesting. So we expect bumper harvest as they claim. So prices automatically must drop. But as we speak today, Damango, a bag of maize is 120. It was 120 in May. Still 120.
Is it possible that
we have
storage facilities and so farmers can store? That's why the prices are not dropping?
No. Whenever there is bumper harvest, please let me tell you, immediately you get that shock in drop of prices. Go and ask. Joy News publish some items. How prices are shot up. Even as we say bumper harvest is still going up. And you tell me that.
That's not true.
You see, there is nothing, you cannot play politics with realities. Now, he touched on cocoa, and I want to touch on it more. You know something? The cocoa, we normally approve what we call the syndicated loan for the cocoa sector. And in it is factored this free fertilizer for cocoa farmers. And as a result, the fertilizer is given free. So it's not like the general one. So and it is taken from the farmers because it is part of the producer price. Now, we normally, under President Mama, is free in order to boost. You came, it was stamped on the fertilizer, not for sale. You started selling it for 80 Ghana cedis. And do you know what they said? The sector is broke. Let me tell you, I can get you how they help the headquarters. Their budget increased from 367. When they said the cocoa sector is broke, they cannot. To 537. So how can you say that it is broke? Meanwhile, your budget that will not lead to production is increasing over the period. You see, these people, they are not in to help the farmer.
Oh, really?
They will tickle you and then turn around and praise themselves.
So you think
now,
the
cashew industry has been growing over the years. I have 5-acre cashew. I want to try it, and it is part of the development that is coming up. An investment has been going there over the period. And if you have 10-year development plan, that is good.
Feed into this opportunity and do more.
Let me tell you.
This is an opportunity.
That tells you that I just want you to know that that program has been going on.
You having 5 acres doesn't mean there was a program. This is a national plan launch.
This thing is going on. Now let's see.
You can't have your 5 acres and say that was a national
I don't want them to go and supply fertilizer to the cashew farmers.
So
and then come and say we created 300,000 farmers.
Are those that will benefit? They register about 10,000 registered farmers.
You should be part. You should go and take advantage.
A 3 million.
Take advantage of it, Honorable Mutakiri. Okay.
Apart from that, we are told that about 30,000 hectares of cashew plantations will be done on a pilot phase.
Will be.
Mass spraying.
Will be. Will be. It's very, very important. That is why I'm saying that we shouldn't treat it like planting for food and jobs. Where you go and give them fertilizer, they pay half upfront. Then you come and tell them, oh, we have done so much. Please, we need practicality in place.
Which we are doing.
And when we will have the 10-year development plan, we'll peruse it. Where there is the need to praise, we'll do.
Right.
Where to do constructive criticisms, we will do it.
Right.
And have input
I agree. Thank you
on
so
that.
much.
It's very, very important.
So fundamentally, what you are saying is that we are all on the same page. We want to see
that is why I say the cashew sector has been getting attention, not
and I'm
only
saying
when
that now we all agree.
Yes.
You and I agree with the president that what he did was a laudable idea, and it's good for us to develop.
Understand? I have indicated that it isn't start today.
No, it doesn't matter, but we have agreed.
So, and every government need to come and continue, just like we continue.
Look, you see,
with program.
No, what you did earlier wasn't a national plan. I beg you.
Let me tell you.
Let's be honest to ourselves. You having a 5-acre farm. You had 5 acre.
We are wrapping up.
Done well, but your government never instituted a plan to work on cashew.
But what
this
I'm
is the
saying
first time we are having. That's what the point I'm making. So we've made efforts to ensure that we make the place attractive. And you agree that yes, even you have started with 5 acre. Now say take advantage and expand.
And I'm saying
that will help.
That is what I'm saying. Don't make it planting for food and jobs.
No.
You come and give me fertilizer and then go out and say you help me farm the 5 acres.
All right.
So it's the propaganda aspect of it.
It's not propaganda. I'm saying that look.
Okay. Well, we're at the top of the hour, 8 o'clock, so we need to wrap up.
Is that right? So soon.
Yes.
Is it when my brothers were given 8 years to handle this country, and they decided to create loot and share among themselves, and they decided to give V8s to chiefs and so many.
You use V8. You were not using V8.
No.
Meanwhile, you are not a government.
I don't use V8.
When you had an accident, you stood by the V8 and took a selfie.
Is that what you call a V8? Is that what you call a V8? I don't use a V8.
How can you get an accident? And you get out of bike and you take a selfie. And
I don't use
so
a V8.
people will
but
see
that's not a V8 anyway.
People will see
do you know a V8?
People will see the improvement in your lifestyle for the past 1 year. That is what he did.
Listen, I don't use a V8.
I cannot have an accident. Then I'll come and take a selfie. People to see my
fine out.
I'm
not an appointee of government.
And that is
I
why
work
I say
for
you
a
are not
party, a political party, and of course I have my private businesses I run. I'm on course.
A political party that is in power.
Why? A political party that is in power. Of course, it's a political party.
I know the number
It remains
plate
a political
of
party.
that.
It doesn't matter. But go and cross check.
It wasn't
I said
2016.
go and cross check.
The number plate was in 2015.
But it's not even a V8 in the first place. Let us not create that erroneous expression.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm grateful for your morning with us.
You're getting luxurious thing you are enjoying. You come and pretend.
No. That's not true. That's not true. I think you don't know that.
All right, I'm grateful for your time. Kamadin Abdullah is the National National Coordinator of the NPP. He is also seeking for the position as a National Youth Organizer of the NPP. He is touring the country, and sure, he'll be visiting you wherever you are. Honorable Adams Mutuwakilu, Member of Parliament for the Damongo constituency, a member of the NDC, and he's been in Parliament for 5 years, talking about his constituency, protecting them and leading them. Grateful for your morning with us.
Most great.
Thank you. Most grateful as well.
All right, stay with us. There's more coming up.
Welcome back. So, of course, we have some news for you because she is heavily potholed, stagnant and smelly. A pure case of a once beautiful prime location in the heart of Accra, but unfortunately it has become a complete nuisance to residents, businesses and commuters. For over 12 months, pedestrians and drivers have had to contend with this ugly spectacle for lack of alternatives. And while help seems nowhere near, the plight worsens by the day, pushing the folk at Dakuman Junction to scream harder for immediate attention. Here's Community Connect report by our own Johnny Hughes. Viewers are advised that this report has some disturbing images.
When Community Connect got a distress call from Isaac Ashon concerning the year-old sorry site at Dakuman Junction in Accra, we expected a mess, but not in such gigantic proportions. This major road is heavily potholed, filled with stagnant water, and it's dirty and stinky. Dakuman Junction is located on the Kaneshi-Malam Highway in the Ablekuma North constituency and also within the Ablekuma North sub-metro of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Many years ago, when CP contractors put this road together, I was just a child in primary school. It used to be one of the best in the country, but maybe not anymore. The structural defect on the asphalted surface due to the excessive presence of water ruins a very beautiful story. For all regular and first-time commuters along the busy highway, this quagmire gets mired by the minute and help seem nowhere near. Not from the managers of the sub-metro or the Department of Urban Roads, nor from the big businesses that ply their daily trade even in the face of the smelly, dirty and absolutely irritating flow of the wild mixture through the city center. This is the genesis of what has become a thorn in the flesh of motorists, pedestrians and residents. It flows freely without hindrance and vividly marks its path with a whitish substance as it travels along the stretch. Some residents believe the liquid is a spillover from a manhole. The large volumes of water runs from the Odoko MTTD through the frontage of MTN, Cap Farm, TLC, Star Times, Big Lead Plaza, Ecobank, Techno, Unibank, all the way down to Dansoman Junction. The frustrations are so loud that even new users of the stretch, which connects Accra and the Central Region, are unpleasantly welcomed in this manner. They live with a negative impression that could last a lifetime.
Today is my first time using this road. I didn't know that there is a big pothole. I can't call it pothole, but I can call it mountain.
And so you are surprised?
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised.
You're a bit surprised. Yeah. So what do you hope that this will be something will be done about it? Take the mic.
Actually, unless like I don't know what the government is going to do for us now, but I don't know.
You don't know? I thank you very much.
So, could this be a testament that the city authorities have abandoned their own basic hygiene practices as preached by the AMA bylaws on sanitation? Or could it be that the businesses along this glaring mess just do not care about their clients and how they feel inconvenienced about this? What about the urban roads? Do they care about the extent of damage this mess has wreaked on the highway? And how much it would cost to fix it in future if it is not tackled immediately? And oh, what about the National Road Safety Commission and the Police MTTD? Do they shiver at the imminent and impending danger that this poses to the lives that live, walk and drive at Dakuman Junction? Here is Rejoice Dachomo, a top official at the AMA Ablekuma North office. She tells Community Connect that she needs clearance to speak on an issue she is remunerated to be responsible for. Then she pleads to stay off record on such a pressing issue. When we quiz why she wants it so, she responded.
There's a gutter in front of the Unibank, the Techno building that has overflowed its boundaries. And it's on the street. I'm sure you know about it. Yes, and we spoke with the Unibank people. They claim that they are working with you on that. What is the latest on that particular problem?
Please, am I on air?
No, you are not on air at this moment.
And I hope you are not going to put it on air.
The question is that the Unibank people have spoken already, and the citizens have also spoken. So you are supposed to be in charge, and we want an official position on that if it won't be a problem for you.
Anyway, but I'm not given the permission to talk on air. That's why
Why not so, madam?
No, before, I have my bosses. So anything like this, I need their permission.
Okay, so how long will it take to get permission to speak on this particular matter? So that
the thing is that this particular problem, yes, they are working on it. It's a major problem. So that project. So we are working on it. Even the Unibank people, they have also brought some people.
Right.
The thing is, they worked on it, and then it kept on coming. It's not only, the problem is not
because they have not got options. So, as helpless as they were on a bright, blessed Sunday, I watched in awe as they went through hell, literally.
It is difficult to cross the road from here. When it rains, we beg people to carry us on their backs for a fee. The whole place is such a big mess. We've been told that a gutter at the other end is faulty, and that's why the dirty water keeps flowing. The problem seems unsolvable. We want this road and the Aliu Mahama road fixed. Our MP, Ekuya Efriye, promised to solve the issues, but she is yet to fulfill her promise.
The distress call had mentioned Unibank, so we got intrusive and phoned Unibank's toll-free helpline and posed as customers of the bank. We got linked to the estate officer and he made us a promise which fulfillment date has long expired.
Hello?
Good afternoon, Daniel speaking.
Good afternoon, Daniel. My name is Johnny Hughes.
Okay, Johnny, how may I help you?
I'm very well, Daniel. I've noticed a little problem in front of your branch at Dakuman, and yes, the Dakuman branch. There seems to be a gap.
Water issue.
Exactly, and it's been there for a long time.
Well, you saw that right there. We do hope that duty bearers will come to the aid of the people who live in Dakuman and its surroundings. But we'll bring you more on that subsequently. But we're talking about staying healthy and living a healthy life. I'm talking to Dr. Ama Diafo. She's an optometrist at Lekma Hospital. Good morning, Ama.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Fine, and you?
But of course, we're talking about this also in light of Fat to Fit, which we'll come down to. But tell me about your personal journey towards living a healthy life.
It has been really tough. If anybody tells you that living healthy is easy, the person is lying. It's been really tough. I started off with Fat to Fit Ghana, and with them I lost about 15 kg. Nice. And then after that, I got, let's say I got experience, and I went on after that by myself to lose an extra 10 kg. And it's an everyday learning process. As I said, it's really tough. I've had to change my mind. I've had to change my way of life, sacrifice a lot of things, food-wise, my time, going out, things like that, just to make it to the gym, just to, get up early and make it to jog and things like that. But it's been worth it. Right. And for me, as I was telling earlier, it's a lifestyle. I'm not on any diet. I've just changed my lifestyle, and I'm hoping to do that for the rest of my life. Nice. Yes.
But tell us about Fat to Fit, because that's happening this weekend. And you happen to be a part of season 2 and 3.
Yes, and 3, yes. The CEO of Fat to Fit Ghana, Koto de Gross, he started it, I think, about 2 years ago. And we are starting the season 5 on Saturday. You can go to the website www.fattofitghana.com and you register. The registration fee is just 150 Ghana cedis. Yes. You can be in America, you can be anywhere in Africa, Asia, whatever it is. Just go to the website and register. It comes with meal plans. You get meal plans, because the meal plans are important. Losing weight and being healthy is about 80% your diet. And then he would send a few exercise videos to get you started. and you also be part of a support group, which is really important. So you have like-minded people, you know, encouraging you, keeping you on your toes, making sure you don't cheat.
Nice.
Yes.
But Amma, tell me about it, because you say you're not on a diet.
Yes.
How does healthy living, I mean, for you, pan out? Because even though you're not on a diet, I'm sure you do certain things that take time, consume money,
a lot of time,
and maybe not too palatable. But tell me about it.
For the last part, let me tackle the last part. Getting food that is delicious. I'm not a chef, basically. Like, I've just found things, put things together that work for me. For example, I've just made a few changes. So instead of using the normal vegetable oil, either I don't use any oil at all to cook, or I use a little bit of coconut oil or a little bit of olive oil, very little, to do everything. And I grill, you know, instead of frying. You know, so it's still delicious. I use my normal spices to, you know, do everything, make it delicious. And it's a little bit expensive. Last year I was going through, you know, my finances, and I realized that I spent a lot of money on fitness and healthy living. But it's worth it. I mean, no one wants to live 50 years and you have to be going to the hospital with so many heart diseases, you know, paying for your sins. I don't want to do that. I want to be a healthy mother in the future, hopefully, and I want to, you know, be 70 and still look, you know, so it's worth it now. It's, as I said, it's a lifestyle, not a diet. It's a lot of sacrifice. You have to put your mind to it, be disciplined, you know, in your mind and everything, knowing that, you know, this morning I'm going to jog, whatever it is, or this evening after work I'm going to the gym, you know. So it's just about making a few changes and sticking to it. And it becomes, you know, when you start something and it becomes a habit as time goes on. So I would entreat everybody to start, because I started with Fat to Fit and I've lost about 25 kg in the process. So just start. It might take you a year, it might take some people 1 month, it might take some people 2 months, but the most important thing is that you get started.
Nice. But where is it happening and what time should we be
So we're starting this Saturday at the Aviation Social Center. From 6 a.m. we have to be there. We start at 6 a.m. We start working out. It's the opening, it's the grand, you know, you know, you've been there before. We're there, yes. So we'll start, you know, introducing everything. You get to meet a lot of people who have been on the journey. They will encourage you, things like that. And we're starting at Accra Aviation Social Center. But as I said, you can register and you can join from anywhere. The most important thing is that you get the meal plans, you get the exercise videos, and then you be a part of the support group.
Nice. Yes. Anyway, guys, so you've heard that from Dr. Amadiafu, who happened to be a beneficiary of Fat to Fit, and she's encouraging all of us to be there with them at the Aviation Social Center, 6 a.m. this Saturday. Do go out there and learn to start living healthy, because indeed you want to still be healthy at the time you even pass out. But anyway, guys, we have more here on NewDay, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Let's get into a conversation following the sad demise of dancehall queen Ebony Rains, and we've had a streak of those: Terry Bonchaka, Susie Williams, Vibrant Fire, and Owusu Ansah. Yes, Kwame Owusu Ansah. They've all died through road accidents. But we want to have a conversation about what makes or breaks an artist. I've been joined by Regan Mentz, is a talent manager. He holds credit to having managed Terry Bonchaka, Sherifa Gunum, Okrasini Samuel, and Kina Isoba. Great. Terry, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine.
So, what makes or breaks an artist?
What I would say is, when you are managing artists, sometimes those behind, they see it to be simple. Okay. And so when the artists start making it, they feel that, you see, Ghana here, like our what do you call it? Our copyright laws are not good. Right. So sometimes,
how do you know the copyright laws are not good? I've seen the copyright laws.
When it comes to our musical industry, right? Our the laws governing our industry is not all that. So when those behind the artist sees that the artist is not earning what they feel the artist should earn, then they will start manipulating the artist against.
Is it not a matter of agreement?
It's
Don't
agreement.
You agree with the artist? So,
fine.
So then my question is it a lifestyle of the artist, or is it a case of management? Because when you get into a deal to want to manage somebody,
you see, what I will say is, it's like influence. Like they are being influenced by either their families or their friends.
Okay.
Because maybe you are managing the person. Everybody is supposed to see the person like riding, riding in all the big cars.
Right.
So immediately the artist's name is being heard everywhere. But when you say the artist, maybe like
it doesn't correspond with their lifestyle.
That. Yes. Then the friends and the families will start saying that maybe like your manager is not doing something well.
Okay.
You see, so it's high time we sit down to analyze ourselves that when somebody tries to help you, you don't just jump into conclusion.
Hold on with that thought. The helping bit is well, okay, so the person has talent.
Yeah.
You say you are an artist manager.
Yeah.
What goes into it? What do you do as an artist manager? Do you go buying things for them? What do you do?
Me, as an artist manager, when you come to me, I will sit you down and tell you, look, I have the lens. I know how to guide you to become a great artist. So I'm not a producer.
Right.
In music, we have executive producer.
Okay.
Executive producer is the one that will use the money.
Right, bankrolls the project.
Yes.
Right.
So me being the manager, I have the lens, I have the know-how.
Okay.
So I will direct you on what to do.
Okay.
So it's like as an artist manager, you have to always be with your artists.
Okay.
Shows and everything, and moreover, you also go and lobby for shows. For the artists.
Okay.
So when it gets to a point that the artist becomes so big, everybody feels that look, like you see.
Is that where artist managers lose control over their talent?
Yes, because
when they start becoming big.
Yes, when they start becoming somebody like Okrasene Samuel.
Right.
When Okrasene Samuel had the problem with Mark.
Okay.
I managed Okrasene Samuel when he brought the Mikra.
Right.
You see, it got to a point that this guy felt that because he was everywhere, and meanwhile, I have to even go and beg before they put him on shows and all that.
Right.
But it got to a time that this guy was like, now I'm big, so you see, like, Regan cannot control me anymore. You see, and somebody like Kina Yusuba, I would thank him so, because look, it got to a time that when King was in his peak, even Freddie Man was so angry that why should a small boy like me be managing a big
Freddie Man is not here to defend himself.
No, but I can recall that.
Right.
It was like, why should you allow this small boy to manage me? Meanwhile, I have something in me. Like, look, I've been able to manage an artist like Terry Bonchaka, who was everywhere, who was so big. So, irrespective of my age, don't think that.
And I know that back in the day, Kina Yusuba and Terry Bonchaka had a thing going on.
You see,
but we see you're making a very sharp one at Fredima. I know Fredima is very respected in this industry.
Yeah.
I've had my own stint with him.
Yeah.
Why would he have reason to say that?
Because he felt that I was so young then. Because like,
does age matter in artist management?
I just don't know, because he was like, why should a young guy like me be managing somebody like
what did Kina Yusuba say?
And he was like, look, this guy is helping me. He's the one behind like my everything. So don't think that because he's a young guy. So
tell me now, what do you need to become a good artist manager? Is it money? Is it power? Is it authority? What is it? What do you need?
One, you have to get contacts, and secondly, you have to have the like how that know-how. Like you have to like know the terrain. You have to know like and moreover. We have hip life, we have high life, and we have gospel. So me as an artist manager, my expertise is in managing like artists that they are more of our traditional, because like if you compare someone like Terry Bonchaka, Kina Yusuba, Sheriff Aguno, these are my line.
Right.
It got to a time that I was supposed to manage someone like Kwakese, but I didn't like his style. I'm not saying that Kwakese is not good, but you have to know that, look, this is my line, this is my strength. Like, you can't just get up and say that because I'm an artist manager, I can manage any artist. No, you have to know what you are about. You have to prepare yourself well. You have to know that, look, this is the trend that I want to go. So you can't just get up and just come and manage.
Let's look at the artists that you have managed. Unfortunately, we lost Terrible in Chaka. But Kina Isoba is doing well. Sherifa Gunu, she's in between. Okrasini Samuel, we don't know where he is. So we can say that they've made it, and perhaps they're on the brink of breaking it.
Okay.
At what point did they lose it?
You see, let's take Sheriff Agunu. Sheriff, I started managing Sheriff Agunu 2010.
Okay.
After 2 years, I came and packaged Sherifa. When TV3 were using her for their Ghana Was Beautiful and all that, I came and lobby for her.
To be on. Okay.
I spoke with
let's move on.
Okay, move on. I spoke with them and they put her on an order. It got to a time that she has to choose between me and the boyfriend.
Okay. So there's a relationship in there.
Yes.
That was what broke her.
Yes. If you are managing a female artist and you're not dating the female artist, it wouldn't work.
Do you support that artists, managers date their female?
Yes, but me, Reagan,
did you ever do that?
I will never do that.
Why?
Because,
why would you do that?
Because I wouldn't combine work with personal feelings.
Okay.
Because it's like it was pure business. So once it's pure business, why should I?
Do you advise in the wake of all these issues we've had? Do you advise that an artist manager, for example, must have the money, the means to be able to bankroll the project, like what we've seen in the case of Bullet and Ebony? Do you advise that?
Yes. You see, it's not just about the money. You can get all the money, but yet, you see,
is it their lifestyle that breaks them?
Their friends and families, they will influence them.
Yes, not their lifestyle.
No, they will influence them.
Okay.
It's influence.
Regan Mensah, thank you very much. We'll continue this conversation shortly, but Amma joins me up here. Angela is on the beat, and Kwame Eugene, is on the rise. We hope he doesn't fall. He keeps rising and goes international after this.
Anyway, guys, it's just about time for us to wrap up. But a good morning to you, Justina Owusu, my favorite nurse, or one of my favorite nurses at Achimota Hospital. But I'm sure Johnny has some birthday wishes as well.
Justina, stop injecting the small kids.
Well, she doesn't inject.
Anyway, so this is Tilapia's animation of a conversation purported to have gone on between Minister for Water and Sanitation, Mr. Kofi Ada, and the President, Nana Danko Akufo-Addo. It says, make sure you clean the city before 2020. And it says, Haba, I'm not a baller minister, and there's baller everywhere. But Mr. Kofi Ada seems to have a broom in hand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's all manner of things. This gutter looks like the Odor River. Yeah, it looks
Johnny,
like.
but honestly, around Tema Station, have you seen between the Ghana Health Service, HR, their main office, the gutters there, it stinks, it looks filthy, and I mean, I don't know what goes on there. But recently, when I also passed there, I realized at least some attempts at desilting or taking the rubbish out of the, drains has been done. But I have a problem when you take rubbish out of the drains and you put it right on the brink of the bridge, because right now that the rains are there, it will wash it back, and then the work done seemingly is not. So if, they could get to picking it, I know they have to dry it and there's a process, but they could move it from the original sites to some place where they can dry it and then burn it or whatever.
It's all a matter of sanitary sites, and that's what I'm talking about. If we don't have a rallying point, for example, Kaneshi, Bubuashi, Awudome, they all don't have a rallying point where they can put their field. So they bring it to the Kaneshi market. And that's why you can clear the Kaneshi market today. Tomorrow, the rubbish will be there because they don't have a rallying point. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. So if you tell me, if the minister, for example, tells us that he's been drafting policy over the last year, which is said to us yesterday on Sunrise. I mean, what policy are we going to draft? Is it going to look like what we already have? Because the policy must emanate from the law. Okay, and then we implement it. Now, if there's already the framework and you're spending a whole year to draft a policy, then the implementation will take 3 years, I tell you. And in the meantime, we owe over 892 million Ghana cedis in terms of debt to service providers. We have only been able to advance 200 million. Even that, we don't know if the money is gotten there or not. So now, what happens to the 692? And would that get them to work?
Johnny, and it will be your money that will finance all these things.
Because we spend $1.4 billion every year trying to solve our sanitation problems. and the teachers are adding on to it.
But in the meantime, I would like to also advise Ghanaians, as not spectators, but citizens, to also, you know, go on these activities to try and clean up the country because the filth. Remember that when you think it's the government who will come, when the government doesn't use that place on an everyday basis. And so when there's sickness or any disease outbreak, you will suffer for it, and you would have to pay for your health individually. And the government, I mean, the politician will travel out there and you'll be here crying every
Finally,
morning. So let's work on it.
Tilapia is talking about the teachers. This Deputy Health Minister and the Bogatanga Nursing School teachers, they said they won't work again. For ordering us to work under corrupt management, we will behave like spectators and not citizens. So this is it. Deputy Health Minister says go and work. They say, well, we will not work. But the rains have started, dear Ghanaians and fellow friends out there. The rains have started. Clear your gutters, sweep, be safe. If you live in a low-lying area, move. And tomorrow we'll be asking the AMA what happened to their 17 evacuation centers that they claim they have earmarked. They earmarked that when the first rains came. Have they put up sheds? What is happening there? Or are they just bare parks so that when it rains, people will go and stand on the park? We want to know. Have a great morning. It's Wednesday. It's midweek.
Tomorrow will be Throwback Thursday. You know how we do it. We'll give you pictures of some celebrities who have risen on the ranks and now and we'll try and remind them of what they used to do. We'll do Sankofa.
Sankofa. Should we do Sakodia?
Well, maybe that would be that. We could, Amanziba, yeah, not too bad. We could try. Or even you.
Oh, no, please.
You never know who will be there for throwbacks. So just watch out.
Don't try. Don't try.
But you know when Johnny says speak your mind. So maybe Thursday we'll just attempt to speak our mind here. So get ready for that blast tomorrow. But thank you for joining us here from 6 to 9. Have a good day, Philomena Petenge.